on today to the chapter called Adiyat, and this is one of my favorite chapters, along with the other 113 as well, of course. The beauty about this chapter is the vivid imagery that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is conveying in this chapter. It's amazing. I remember as a young kid reading the translation, and it didn't really make a lot of sense to me. And then as I got a little bit older, I had a bit more understanding. You could really appreciate the beauty. And there is so much detail in this chapter in terms of the rhetoric and the particular words, the style that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used. But of course that will take much more time, so we'll have to just skim over a few things. This chapter, it conveys three main things. One is the attitude of human beings. The second thing is how greedy we can be. And thirdly, we sometimes have this completely carefree attitude, the no fear type of attitude that we have, as if there is no consequence at all. I want you to imagine that you are a director of a movie. Okay, so you're sitting in your director's chair, and you're going to direct the scene in as much detail as possible. Okay, to make it as vivid as possible, to make it as action-packed as possible. And this is pretty much what is happening here. Okay, so in the first verse, وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبَحًا, what we find in the first 5 verses actually is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken an oath in the first 5 verses. Yeah. So وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبَحًا. So the translation of this is that I swear by the runners breathing pantingly. Okay. Now that, if you read the translation, probably doesn't mean all that much. Okay. So we have to look into the tafsir of what this actually means. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath by horses, by a certain type of horse. Okay? These horses were female because they were much quicker, they were faster than the male horses. And they were horses that were generally used in battle. Okay? So they're very quick horses. Okay? And dhabh is your breath. It's when you're panting. That is what we call dhabh. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing by the runners breathing pantingly, i.e. the horses are coming, they're running, they're galloping really quickly. Okay? And they're galloping towards the enemy, okay, or to the victim, as it might be. In the second ayah, فَالْمُورِيَاتِ قَدَحًا, then those that produce fire striking. Again, when you look at the translation, it doesn't perhaps make it's not that clear. The tafsir is that as the horses are galloping, and because the speed at which they are galloping, when the hooves touch the rocks or they strike the rocks, you have a little flame. Okay, so it's almost that the horses are on fire. Okay, that's the sort of aggression, the speed, and the fearsome nature of how they are galloping towards where they need to go. Qadha is also to describe how loud it is as well. So it's very loud galloping. Okay. In the third ayah, فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبْحًا, so they ambush. Okay, so you can imagine a group of brigands, a group of thieves, if you like, and they are going to ambush their victims. And they do it in the morning, whereas usually you would expect people to steal or loot at night time. But they're doing it in the morning because they've got no fear, they don't care. They could do it in the daylight robbery. Yeah? They're not bothered. They're completely fearless. So they can attack and they can cause their pillage, as they please. In the fourth ayah, فَأَثَرْنَ بِهِ نَقَعًا. So what's happening now is, if you imagine the horses galloping really quickly, there's these sparks on the hooves, but they're leaving a dust trail. So when, for example, in a dusty road, if there's a car that's just gone, it leaves like a track, okay, a dusty track. It's like that. So you can't actually see the enemy because the dust particles have been raised up. Yeah. It's a bit like in the cartoons, the fast cartoons. You had Coyote. Do you remember Coyote? And then, he would run away and he would leave a track of dust. Okay, that's what we are trying to convey here. Then in the fifth ayah, فَوَسَطْنَ بِهِ جَمْعًا. So then they rush thereby upon assembly, i.e. they penetrate through the middle and they go right through the enemy. Yeah, they go right through the enemy. It's dusty, fast horses, galloping, and they're just penetrating through the enemy. So this is if you like, the build-up of the scene, of the scenario. Okay. So now we come to the climax. What is it that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is trying to tell us here? Yeah. What's the next scene? إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لِرَبِّهِ لَكَنُودٌ. Most surely, man is ungrateful to his Lord. This is what this is about. Yeah? Allah is now saying that truly man is disloyal and he or she dissociates from their Lord, from their master. Yeah? Qanud means to dissociate, okay? To be a complete true ingrate, yeah? Especially to their master. In verse 7, وَإِنَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ لَشَهِيدٌ, and most surely he is witness to that. In reality, we are witness to our own deeds. Yeah? The biggest testimony is our own self. Deep down, we know what we are doing. We're just very good at making excuses. And we're very good at covering ourselves up. Yeah? But in reality, the deeds are going to be exposed on the Day of Judgment. Like we explained yesterday, explaining Surah Zilzal, that when the graves will split open, the deeds will also be exposed as well. There's no hiding. In verse number 8, وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ. So, and most surely he is tenacious in the love of wealth. So what does this mean? The word khayr here, the Mufassirun have said that this is actually alluding to specifically mal or wealth. Mal or wealth. Hub is something that we perceive to be good. Okay? So we perceive it to be good. And then we basically have a relentless pursuit to try and achieve that. So whether it is wealth or cars or property or whatever it might be. So we think it is something that's good. It makes us feel good. And we want to chase after it. So there is, if you like, almost like a sarcasm here that Allah is saying, well, you think this is good. This is the khayr that you're talking about. Okay. You think this is good, but this is just so that we are translating the mentality of the people. That people think that this is what it's about. They think it's about accumulation of wealth, accumulation of property and money, but actually this is a complete waste. This pursuit is of no benefit whatsoever. But this is what man does. This is what we do. We will do anything to earn more money. Unfortunately, a lot of people will do this illegally. You see this on a bigger scale. Oh, they've got oil, we'll go and do this and that. Why do they do it? To accumulate more wealth. They've got no care whatsoever that they will kill innocent people on their way, because they have this tenacious hunger for accumulating more and more wealth, more and more power. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala poses a question. أَفَلَا يَعْلَمُ إِذَا بُعْثِرَ مَا فِي الْقُبُورِ. Does he not know that when what is in the graves is raised, just like in the previous surah, we know that our deeds will be exposed. Don't we know this? Have we not been told? Have we not been warned that this is going to happen? It's like, there's a box and you're trying to look for something and you're chucking everything out. That's what it's going to be like. The graves will literally be just split, turned over, and your deeds will basically come out in front. In verse number 10, وَحُسِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ, and what is in the breasts is made apparent. So again, just re-emphasizing the previous point. Whatever is inside here, it's going to come out. Whatever is in your heart, is in your breast, it will come out. More precisely, it means to peel away. Yeah, so it's like you peel a banana or you peel an orange to get to the main mush. That's what it is. So the heart will be peeled away, okay, to get to the actual core in terms of what deeds we have committed. So if there's any disloyalty that is being hidden, if there's any love of wealth, if there's any jealousy that we may have in our hearts, all of these things will be exposed. There's no hiding. And then the last verse, إِنَّ رَبَّهُمْ بِهِمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ لَخَبِيرٌ. So most surely the Lord that day shall be fully aware of them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware. He's aware of all the deeds that we have done. Whether we have committed anything in the open, whether we have committed something secretly, whether we hold some sort of bad feeling or jealousy or bughz or whatever it might be inside, He's aware. He is closer to us than our jugular vein, as He mentions in Surah Qaf. So we need to be aware of this, and fasting is a really good example of this, where you're doing something in secret. Nobody else needs to know that you are fasting. Only you know, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. Yeah? So the chapter begins with man being completely carefree, thinking that nobody knows, thinking that there is no accountability and they can do what they like. And then it ends with us telling us that, deep down, we know full well what we are doing. And the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also is well aware of what we are doing. There is no hiding. That's the core message of this chapter. is to vividly explain to us about the sort of attitude that we might have in our pursuits and in our greed and in the wrongdoings that we might do in secret. But at the end of the day, there is no hiding. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to take us to account for those things. So why not do things in secret that when they are exposed are going to be good things? Like we give charity in secret, we fast in secret, we make dua for our brother in secret. If these things are exposed, inshallah, then alhamdulillah we will be in good company. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us understanding. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fill our scales with good deeds and to protect us from the evil of this night. And we ask Him to give us the khair and the good of this night. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fulfill our du'as. And we ask Him to protect us from all evil. And we ask Him that He fills our hearts with the love of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that we follow in his noble footsteps. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.